At the dealership parts counter, a single quart of Mopar transmission fluid costs about $11, and once it lands on a service invoice with the markup piled on top, closer to $25. The exact same fluid, chemically identical down to the additive molecule, sells at the auto parts store or by the case online for around $6. Not similar, not close enough. The same fluid blended to the same locked specification, poured from the same kind of drum. Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram owners pour a fortune in markup into their transmissions every year for a bottle that does absolutely nothing the cheap one does not. This video names 7 transmission fluid brands only dumb people buy. 4 of them will quietly overcharge you for something you could get for a fraction of the price, and the last 3 are not just a waste of money. They can destroy the very transmission they were supposed to protect. Here is the thing almost nobody at the dealership will explain to you. The fluid your Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, or Ram transmission needs is called ATF plus 4. And ATF plus 4 is not a type of oil. It is a license specification, a legal standard, owned and trademarked by Chrysler, written down as Material Standard MS 9602. That distinction is the entire game. When a company wants to sell a bottle of genuine ATF plus 4, they do not get to invent their own recipe. Chrysler tells them exactly which additive package to use, made by a single chemical company called Lubrizol, and which approved base oils are allowed. Then the fluid gets tested, licensed, and stamped, which means every bottle of licensed ATF plus 4, no matter whose name is on the front, is built from the same additive package on the same base oil. A Mopar bottle and a store brand bottle are not competitors. They are the same fluid wearing different labels, but there is a second kind of bottle on that shelf. One that looks almost identical, sits right next to the real thing, and is designed to make you believe it is the same. It is not. And telling those 2 bottles apart is the difference between a transmission that runs past 200,000 miles and one that starts shuddering in your driveway. If nobody has ever walked you through the fluid aisle like this, subscribe, because exposing the things no one tells you at the counter is exactly what this channel does. To understand why the expensive bottle is a waste and the dangerous bottle is worse, you have to understand how a company earns the right to print ATF plus 4 on a label. Chrysler introduced this specification back in 1998, replacing a string of weaker fluids that came before it, and they did it for a reason that still haunts these transmissions today. Chrysler automatics are famously, almost comically picky about what you feed them. When lock-up Torquey converters became standard, the old fluids could not handle the heat. Their friction modifiers broke down, and the result was a violent, high-frequency shudder owners could feel through the floor, the first sign of a transmission tearing itself apart. Chrysler's answer was a synthetic fluid so shear stable they could market it as fill for life. In the official engineering tests, the older fluids lost as much as 40% of their thickness under stress. A TF plus 4 lost under 10. That was the whole point, and Chrysler locked it behind a trademark so tightly no one could copy it without permission. And this is not old history. Millions of these trucks, Jeeps, and minivans are still on the road, and every single one of them still drinks this exact fluid every time it is serviced. Getting that permission is brutal. A company that wants to blend licensed ATF plus 4 has to pass a battery of chemical, wear, friction, and rubber compatibility tests at a total cost of nearly $90,000. Then they submit their labels, sign a licensing agreement, pay Chrysler a $5,000 annual fee, and hand over a royalty of $1 for every single gallon they sell. That is the part almost no one realizes. A large slice of what you pay is not chemistry. It is a toll, collected by Chrysler, on a recipe the company does not even manufacture itself. The outfit that runs this whole program, the Center for Quality Assurance, will tell you plainly that they pull products off store shelves to test them. So the licensing is real and the standard is real, and here is the punchline. Because the additive package and the base oils are dictated from the top, a chemist could run every licensed brand through a gas chromatograph and find the same additive package in everyone. Same guts, same performance, wildly different prices. And that is where the 7 dumb buys begin. But it gets worse, because not every bottle on that shelf actually cleared the licensing. Before we name them, one fact makes the whole list click into place. Most of these brands are not even blended in separate factories. The ATF plus 4 sold under the NAPA label is Valvoline, poured into a NAPA bottle. For years, the cheap fluid on the Walmart shelf was bottled by a company called Warren, the same operation that fills bottles for a whole rack of names you would swear were rivals. One blender fills a dozen labels, and the only thing that changes on the way to the shelf is the marketing and the price. So when you stand in that aisle comparing 5 brands of licensed ATF plus 4, you are not comparing 5 fluids. You are comparing 5 prices for one fluid. Now the list. The first 4 are guilty of nothing except robbing your wallet. Number 1 is the obvious one, the bottle that started this video. Genuine Mopar ATF plus 4 bought across the dealership counter, where a single quart runs $11 or more and a full service can swallow 10 of them. Do the math, and that is over $100 in fluid alone for one Ram truck. For the exact same licensed fluid you could have bought by the case for around $5 a quart. Mopar fluid is not bad. It is the correct fluid. Paying double for it is the dumb part. Number 2 is Royal Purple. Beautiful bottle, premium price, marketed like a performance upgrade, and its multi-vehicle ATF is not even on Chrysler's license list. You are paying boutique money for a fluid that never earned the stamp. Number 3, Lucas, same story. A trusted name in additives charging a premium for an ATF that carries no license to the very specification your transmission demands. Number 4 is the one that starts arguments online, AmSoil. And let me be fair, because accuracy matters here. AmSoil makes genuinely excellent oil, and their multi-vehicle ATF is a quality product. But it is not licensed ATF plus 4, and it sells for 2 to 3 times the price of a bottle that is. Paying triple for an unlicensed fluid when a licensed one meets the identical Chrysler standard for $6 is not a flex. It is the definition of a dumb buy. That is the half of the list that only costs you money. The other half can cost you the transmission, because the last 3 brands are not just overpriced. They are the wrong fluid entirely, dressed up to look like the right one, sitting on the same shelf in bottles built to be mistaken for the real thing. Number 5 is Valvoline MaxLife Multi-Vehicle ATF. And be careful here, because Valvoline also sells a licensed ATF plus 4 that is one of the best deals on the shelf. But MaxLife Multi-Vehicle is a different bottle sitting inches away, and Valvoline's own technical data sheet admits it in writing. It says the product is not a manufacturer licensed product, and that the vehicle makers have neither evaluated nor endorsed it. That is the company itself telling you, do not assume this is ATF plus 4. Number 6 is Castrol Transmax Multi-Vehicle, and this one is almost a trap by design, because Castrol also sells a licensed Castrol Transmax ATF plus 4. Same brand, nearly the same name, one shelf apart. One carries the license. The other is a universal fluid trying to satisfy a dozen specifications at once and matching none of them perfectly. Grab the wrong Transmax, and you will not know until your transmission tells you. And number 7, the one that fools the most people, Mobil 1 Synthetic ATF. It looks premium, it costs premium, and Mobil is a legendary name. But that bottle is a Dexron and Mercon multi-vehicle fluid, not licensed ATF plus 4. Owners grab it on brand loyalty alone and pour a fluid into their Chrysler it was never designed for. And what happens next is the part the label will never warn you about. When you put a universal fluid into a transmission that demands ATF plus 4, it does not fail on the drive home. It is quieter than that, and worse. The friction profile is wrong, so the torque converter clutch never quite locks the way it should, and that old enemy comes back, the shudder. Owners describe it as a chatter, a vibration at cruising speed, a shifting hesitation that was not there yesterday. One owner documented pouring a non-licensed fluid into his Chrysler, feeling the lockup shutter start almost immediately, and watching it vanish the moment he switched back to a cheap, licensed store brand. And this is not some rare edge case. The Center for Quality Assurance does not soften it. They state that independent testing shows unlicensed products claiming ATF plus 4 compatibility do not meet Chrysler's specification, and that using them may damage your vehicle or void your warranty. Sit with that last word. Warranty. Pour the wrong universal fluid into a transmission that is still covered, and if it fails, you have handed the manufacturer a reason to deny the claim on a repair that can run several $1,000s, all to save $2 a bottle over the correct fluid sitting right beside it. And if you pay a shop to do the service, understand what you are buying. A professional transmission fluid service runs anywhere from $120 to well over $300, and part of that bill is the shop's markup on the very fluid you now know costs them almost nothing. So how do you dodge all 7 traps for good? It takes about 10 seconds in the aisle. Look on the bottle for the code NMS9602. Look for a real license number printed on the label, and if you want to be certain, the license brands are published on a public list anyone can check in a minute. The move itself is simple. Buy the cheapest bottle that is truly licensed, whether that is a store brand, a case of Castrol Transmax that plainly reads ATF plus 4 on the front, NAPA fluid that is really Valvoline underneath, or Mopar itself bought online by the case instead of 1 quart at a time across the counter. If a bottle only says meets, exceeds, suitable for, or compatible with ATF plus 4, put it back. Those 4 words are the confession of a fluid that never earned the license. A licensed bottle does not say it is compatible with ATF plus 4. It says it is ATF plus 4, plainly, because it has the paperwork to prove it. And here is the detail that ties this entire scam together. For years, the cheapest licensed ATF plus 4 in America was Walmart's own SuperTech, once selling for under $3 a quart, under $3. And it was blended to the identical lock specification as the $11 Mopar bottle at the dealership. The same fluid at more than 4 times the price in a fancier jug. That was never a quality gap. It was a branding tax, and millions of owners paid it without ever knowing the bottle a few feet away was exactly the same. The uncomfortable truth is that the fluid aisle is built on the assumption that you will not read the fine print, that you will trust the expensive label, or the famous name, or the word universal, and pay for a promise the bottle never makes. But now, you know the one word that matters is licensed, and the one code that proves it is MS9602. The expensive bottle is a waste, the universal bottle is a risk, and the $6 license quart sitting quietly between them is the one that was right the whole time. If this changed the way you will look at that shelf, hit subscribe, because breaking down the products nobody warns you about is exactly what we do here. Your transmission will thank you.